Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the upcoming most promising dinosaur games. And if you're as excited as we are for these games, make sure you hit the subscribe button now for any updates. So, what is the first game we're going to be looking at today?
Well, it is a game called Deathground. It's a solo co-op survival horror game, and I must say it looks extremely scary. It says that it's going to throw players into a desperate battle for survival against deadly AI dinosaurs. And in the trailer we see a raptor and this player going around with his little flashlight, hiding in little lockers and trying to escape. It looks like a scary one.
It does, yes. I like the style of this horror-styled game. I love the claustrophobicness, you're walking around in the dark. And what I think the raptor really does suit this environment, because if you had a T-Rex in here, it wouldn't work. I think it's because it's so, you're in a small environment. The raptor is a smallish dinosaur. Yeah. It's not a huge dinosaur, so it works well as you're walking through these corridors with that flashlight in the dark, trying to find your way out, trying to hide and sneak around.
It reminds me very much of the kitchen scene in Jurassic Park.
Yes.
I think it's that sums it up in a nutshell, really. Yeah, essentially creeping around this. It looks like some kind of abandoned, radio station or some kind of like warehouse. And these dinosaurs, I don't know what the background story is going to be of how they're there or what they're doing there, but you're essentially fighting for survival, trying to find your way out. And there's a scene in the trailer where it shows some helicopters coming in to try and, I assume, save the player, and you've got like a flare and you're trying to get their attention, and you're running with this flare, and there's a raptor behind you, so that'd be really cool, trying to escape. Yeah. But then there's a scene with the car as well. Yes. At the very beginning of the trailer, and then we find out what happens at the end with that the car, and of course
we see the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yes, so I think it's going to be two different. Well, that's the only two dinosaurs we've seen so far in this. We've seen raptors and Tyrannosaurus. So I think the Tyrannosaurus is going to be when you're outside in the forest or in big areas, big open buildings. But then when you're in the tiny corridors and stuff like that, you're going to have things like raptors. And there is a clip that we've seen there that was a raptor with feathers on it, and in the trailer you see that it didn't have feathers, so I don't know if that's an update that they've done on it.
They did a raptor reveal, didn't they? So it could be that some of the raptors have feathers, or maybe some won't. And then they also did another little gameplay run through that showed the T-Rex outside the warehouse, and I think it was fighting with a raptor, or it kind of like bit at one.
Yeah.
So a really good looking game. I think the gameplay looks very scary. It's going to get your heart pounded.
It doesn't look like it's a shooter game. It doesn't look like you're going to be picking up guns and shooting them. It looks like you're literally trying to survive, which it makes you kind of helpless. So the only thing you can do is run around and hide and try and get away from them, which is the style of a horror game.
Yeah, it's going to be more strategy, figuring out how to get off the island or wherever you are, and try and escape.
I think it's going to be very, very scary in AI, not AI, in VR.
Yes,
VR. It's going to be very, that's going to be quite immersive.
Traumatic.
Yeah, like hiding in the locker and seeing it walk past. It's going to be quite, but it does look good. A different style of game, not just a survival game, but that horror game, if that's your kind of thing that you like to do.
I agree. So the next game we're talking about is Ferocious, which looks awfully familiar to me. It looks like King Kong from 2005. It looks like Skull Island.
Yeah, it does. And I think that bit with the bug there that you could see crawling on the floor, it reminded me, and all the bugs and insects and things and all different creatures on the game would come and attack you, and you'd just be, oh god, I'm just trying to kill everything. Literally everything was trying to kill you on the game. And you've got the pterosaurs there flying around, almost like, I wonder if they'll attack you like them big bat things that were in King Kong.
That's it, yeah. And you start on the beach as well, which reminds me of how this story starts in King Kong, when obviously they crash the boat and they've got to try and start surviving on there.
I think it's all them cliffs there. It looks very much like you say, Skull Island. It's just got that certain style.
Yeah. And there's even boats as well. So it might even be that you've crashed as part of a crew. Because in one scene you see like a group of people on the beach and someone gets shot.
Right.
So maybe there's some kind of I don't know what the storyline's going to be or how that's going to be explained. But it says you're going to fight, explore, survive. And it's a first-person shooter that combines a sense of wonder of exploring a mysterious prehistoric island with over-the-top action gameplay. So it's over the top. So
is this an open world, or is this like a journey? I think you follow it through.
I think it's going to be an open world with a bit of a mix. I think certain scenes, like maybe the people shooting on the beach, might be like a staged storyline element, and then you might be able to wander around. It looks pretty open world to me, but who knows? But I know it'll be extremely fun to explore this island and find out the mysteries along with the dinosaurs that are on it. So looking forward to playing this one.
Yeah, it looks very good. Very different style as well, not like the horror. It's more action based, isn't it? Shooter and stuff like that. But yeah, it does look good. Looks good graphics. I like the look of this one.
Happy days.
Interesting.
So, next on the agenda. So, this is Instinction.
Do you have the instincts to survive?
This is a prehistoric action adventure game with combat and exploration. So, it's quite similar to the last Ferocious we've just seen, where it's got the exploration element and the combat.
I think it's a bit more exploring this one though. You can see the temples there. Look at that, swimming through the water there.
The Elasmosaur.
This one looks more as if you're going to be exploring more. The other one looked more shooter. This one looks like you're going to be shooting in it, but it looks more like you're going to be exploring a bit more on this island. Why are these? It looks like a lost civilization in a way. All these temples.
Yeah, it's very like Aztec, Mayan style. Architecture. You can see with the sauropod
there, isn't there, in the background?
That's it. There's a big pyramid, and I think there's a time travel element to this. As you see the player running around, you can see like the ground warping and like things changing in the atmosphere.
Right,
so I think there's going to be a bit of a storyline around time travel. And how you're there, why you're there. You could be teleporting around this different place. So I'm really interested in what the take is there on the storyline and how that's going to affect gameplay. Is it just going to be simple wander around the island and there's a storyline, or is it going to be a bit more complex?
Also, I wonder if you actually can play as a dinosaur in this game, because it looks like you're actually controlling that ceratopsian as it's running through. It actually looks like you're controlling it there. And I was thinking there's a section where you see she's holding an egg in her hand. I wonder if you have to go and maybe steal an egg from a nest maybe, and then raise this dinosaur as your own pet, and then maybe you control it. I don't know, possibly. But it's a different take, isn't it? Because in Ark, you can tame dinosaurs. But this seems a bit more realistic. I don't think you'd actually be able to tame a wild dinosaur. But if you caught an egg, if you captured an egg and raised it that way, I think that would be a lot more realistic than actually going out and trying to feed a dinosaur berries and then going, oh, now you're my pet. I don't think that would work, really. But maybe that's what you're doing here. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're definitely playing as a human in one point. And like I say, it does look like a third person playing as the ceratopsian there. It does look like you're playing it. So you could do, or maybe there's two options. Maybe you can play as a human, and then maybe you can play as a dinosaur. Who knows? There's also a good shot there of the crocodilian, the long snout, which looks really good.
Yeah, Sarcosuchus. I think it's a Sarcosuchus. It looks like one.
Yeah, and then just that bit there as well with the time travel. Again, you saw it with the Carno, where like things around it changed.
Yeah.
So it is strange. It's an interesting one. It is really cool to look at, and it's a bit of a mystery with the storyline and how the game's going to flow.
Yeah, but it looks good though. I think it looks like an interesting one. Yeah, I like it. And that Carno as well in the cave. It reminds me of Aladar when he's in the cave and the Carnotaurus walking.
Yeah,
where it's just looking over you. It's like, oh God, the Carnotaur. But yeah, it looks good. Very exciting.
Yes, excited to play this one.
And the next game we have in store is the Paleo Pines, a completely different style of game from the rest of them. This one is nice and cute. There's no violence. It looks like a nice little game to get your teeth stuck into.
Yeah, it looks very nice. The graphics look very
Cartoony, don't they?
Yeah, easy on the eyes, and you just look at it, you think, great, nice and cartoony. You can tame little dinosaurs, make your own like farm and community.
Oh, right.
And it looks like a really nice game to just chill and relax and play. I think a lot of players will enjoy just spending lots of hours in this little world. Meeting these people. You can customize your own character, and then you can speak to these other people in the village.
Oh, right.
So it looks like a really fun game. Lots of animations, and I think someone might mistake this for just being a kids game, but I think there'll be plenty of adults, including themselves. I'll definitely have a little play of this one. Have a little run round on the back of the Parasaurolophus there, and check out. It'll be a good adventure as well, because it looks like it's a bit of a open world game that you can just kind of wander around and explore. And I'm sure there's a lot of little mysteries and hidden gems they've put there in for us.
Yeah, I think it'll be good as well for kids as well, just because some of the other ones, it might be a bit too scary for them to play.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously some of the violence. So I think it probably is designed for kids, but like you say, you're probably going to get plenty of adults that are probably going to be like, oh no, I fancy a bit of that as well.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
yeah, it's dinosaurs, so what's not to like?
That's
at the
it.
end of the day.
It's nice that it's keeping the spectrum broad, because like you say, if all the games were Ferocious and Deathground with all these bloodthirsty dinosaurs, it's not really catering for kids and the younger audience. So it's nice to see. But it's nice to see a nice little game like this. And it's described as a charming island known for its friendly dinosaurs, its quirky townsfolk, and a mysterious past, which is interesting. So there must be some kind of mysterious element, some kind of a mystery to the island that the player's going to have to find out. He says we can befriend the dinosaurs and enlist their help to fix up your ranch and farm and crops to create your cosy dino sanctuary. Oh, it does sound very nice.
How
indeed,
wonderful. And next up we have The Lost Wild.
Now this one, I think, is one of my favourites. What I'm really looking forward to.
The most promising out of the lot, I think. It looks well rendered, it looks well made, and it just looks, I don't know, it just looks the most promising, I think.
Feels real, doesn't it, when you're watching it?
Yeah.
It says it's a survival horror adventure about overcoming nature's most formidable forms of life.
Wow.
That's a statement, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think this game, what's good about it is the dinosaurs, they're not just going to attack you mindlessly, they're actually going to be thinking. And if you act confidently in front of them, maybe if you stand your ground and don't run. So it's a test of your nerve, really.
That's it. It's said that the AI and the dinosaurs is going to basically learn from your behaviour and how you act. And if you have an encounter with them, earlier on in the game, and you run, they're going to learn from your behaviour and act accordingly, which I think is really, really interesting, because that's like a real animal.
It looks like there's going to be modern animals in there as well. You've just seen a deer there, and it tried to run after the deer and grab it. So I don't know what's... and you can see the fire there as well, so you can light your fire and obviously, use the fire to try and intimidate the dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly.
Back off.
Reminds me of Avatar, that bit where he's trying to wave off the wild dogs, in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's a flare gun he's got there. So maybe if you shoot the flare gun, the dinosaur might run away. But the thing is, maybe if you've used the flare gun once, and the dinosaur realizes, oh, see, they're both stood there by the flare there. Maybe they've learned, oh, the flare doesn't actually do anything.
Yes,
Actually, let's just hope they don't learn how to open doors. But yeah, it looks really good. I like the style of it. I like the detail. It looks very rendered very well. And even the sounds, like when one of them walks past and you're hiding somewhere and you just see the silhouette walk past, the grumbling,
the ground,
it just sounds like a really big animal, big scary animal is walking past. But yeah, this one I really like because it's got a mixture of the horror from the first game we saw, but it's also got a mixture of a journey and exploring like the others, but I just think it looks a bit more, I don't know, detailed. I think it looks a bit more well rendered. I think the game.
Yeah, it does say like it's set in like an overgrown research facility.
Ooh.
It's nestled in a lush wilderness. It says
I mean,
be
look at the
resourceful.
forest there. Look how real it looks.
Yeah, it really is beautiful to look at, and it's talking about. It says you obviously intimidate. It mentions intimidate. So when we were about the behaviour there, it says be resourceful and intimidate. So, you know, it's almost like it's touching on that fact of you can try and intimidate the dinosaurs to make them react in a certain way to get by. If you just run, they might just chase you down and kill you straight away.
So when it's saying be resourceful, it might mean don't use your ammo unless you actually, definitely need to use it. You might be able to hold your ground. I wonder if you'll have like a button where you can shout or something, maybe make yourself look bigger.
Yeah,
if you
that
crouch
would be
down and you
interesting,
look small, you might look more, if you're hiding behind something, it's easy, you look vulnerable. If you stand there and maybe be able to shout or shoot the gun or whatever, or get your fire, they might run off.
I think there'll definitely be an inventory in this game as well. You can see in the gameplay, the players going around and they find like a flare, they're finding bits of equipment, and this will be ways of you can maybe craft things and make things to traps for the dinosaurs, or other things that can help you navigate and survive essentially, which is really good. And then again it says unravel the mystery at the heart of the island. So there's a bit of a theme going on here with these games. A mystery to the island or wherever the game is set.
Look at that there, getting the log. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
what
there's a big
dinosaur is that?
dinosaur.
It looks like I think it's an Allosaurus, I think.
It looks like an Allosaurus, yeah, I thought it might be.
Which is good, rather than just going for the classic T-Rex, you know what I mean? I think it's good to have a nice variety of different dinosaurs. I'm sure it's an Allosaurus. It looks like one. Oh my god. Wow.
I think that was the player being killed.
Yes. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I think this game is going to be one of the most promising out of the ones we've looked at today. I think this one, I've got high hopes for it.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing this one.
Yeah, me too. So here we have one of the games that almost everyone has been anticipating and waiting for. It is Ark 2.
The one and only.
The one and only game. So we're very excited for this. I can't wait for this to arrive. Don't know when it's going to arrive. They've said 2023, but I think there's been a lot of talk about delays and stuff like that. So we don't know when it's going to come out. But if you haven't played Ark number 1, I would argue go and play it right now because it's still completely playable. It's really, really good. I remember when we first played the first one, and it was when they had the split screen, and we were sat there, and we spawned onto the beach in pitch black darkness, having no idea of the controls.
It was first, wasn't it? And then it started to go dark. We didn't realise how to make fire. And we're like, what is going on? Then something was spraying me in the face. Then I was dead.
The
and then we woke up and it was still black. It was still pitch black. And it was like, where's our stuff?
Yeah. It was
a nightmare at the beginning. I was like, what is going on in this game?
It was a nightmare because we were really looking forward to getting stuck into the game, and then we just couldn't work out what the hell was going on because it was just pitch black and we couldn't navigate the controls, we couldn't see anything. Anyway, eventually
we realised we had to get fire before
morning
it turned
came
dark.
We got a fire, and
we must get fire first. But I remember just dying every 5 seconds in that game. You'd make a spear. Oh great, I've made a spear. Dead. Right, and then if you went too far into the island, something would get you. So you're like, we've got to stay near the coast. But
definitely.
Once we got the hang of it, that's when we started to have fun. We started going into caves, and we started trying to get all. I don't think we even managed to complete it, did we? We went to some of the caves, but we didn't get to all of them.
We did a lot of the caves, but we didn't manage. Maybe we should revisit Ark.
Yes, maybe.
And try and get those last caves done. Maybe we should. Let us know, guys, if you'd like to see that.
And one memory I remember from the first game is when we were coming back from Herbivore Island on our raft, and rather than just go to the shallow water and stick by the coast, no, we'll cut across the deep water, so it won't take us long. And then it started going dark, and then we heard a bump on the raft, and I thought, oh no, What's that?
And none of us said anything.
No, we
It
didn't
was like,
speak.
I think we both knew exactly what was happening, but none of us wanted to accept that it was.
And then the raft just blows up.
Obliterated.
And it's in pitch black, so you don't even know what's attacked us. The raft just disintegrates.
Yeah.
And I remember you just going, don't turn off the PS4.
Yeah.
Hopefully it hasn't. I know that's cheating, but we had so much on that
We had
raft.
so much loot, so much stuff on the raft, and we just... I can't remember what we'd actually done, but we had so much in the chests and everything. I think we were doing a big supply drop, and oh god, it was terrible.
It's just how you didn't even say anything. We never spoke. You just turned off the PS4.
praying that he had saved a little bit earlier.
Oh god!
And luckily we managed to salvage a lot of our stuff, didn't
not
we?
making that mistake again. But what was that? That wasn't a megalodon.
It was
that
one of the huge fish. I can't remember the name of them, but it was like it was an absolutely huge fish that was in it.
God.
I wonder if that will appear in the second one.
Probably.
It'll be interesting because I mean, there's so many dinosaurs in Ark.
It's not just dinosaurs though; it's weird creatures. There's some animals that don't even exist. They're like just odd looking creatures, you know what I mean? I think that's what Ark is all about. It's the style. It's not very, I wouldn't say it's realistic. It's kind of cartoony, but it's got lots of different, it's got its own style, hasn't it? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I think that's what makes it unique. You know, I think it's just basically got all the great bits of extinct animals, dinosaurs, monsters, and just put them all together in this mix of survival. And I think Ark 2 will be really good because it's going to just build on that. You know, you're going to have all these dinosaurs put in the mix. I think it's going to be a new island. I'm not sure of the storyline, but I mean, what it says in the bio on Steam, it says survive the past, tame the future. Suddenly awaken in a primal world filled with dinosaurs and humans struggling for dominance. You must team up with legendary heroes to confront powerful dark forces. Saddle up and join a definitive next-gen survival experience with Ark 2. So it'll be interesting, like what they add new to this, because obviously there was a lot of expansion packs and add-ons with Ark that added like the whole storyline, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be super interesting what's gonna happen with Ark 2, how it builds on the first one, and really I just can't wait for an updated updated graphics version.
Yeah. See how much it's improved from the last one. And that's the thing. I think when people are saying, I've heard some people saying it won't even come out because of how many delays there've been, and they're like, I don't think it's going to come out. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, come on, hurry up, I want to play it, and what's going on? But I would rather they take their time and get it done right. I know there's a lot of pressure now with game companies, we've got to get this done quick, we've got to get it out. And I think, no, take your time, because that's when bugs and, mistakes happen. Because look at Cyberpunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a classic example.
And it was a mess. There was all sorts of things wrong with it. I would rather them take the time than the game be rushed and it comes out and then you go on it and there's just tons of, raptors walking in the sky and, things walking through walls and stuff like that. I'd rather they just take the time and get it done right.
Yeah, definitely. And I've heard rumours that it's going to be third person rather than a first person.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which is interesting. I'm not sure how much truth that. I can't remember where I read that, but I believe it might be third person. There was the option of having it third person last time as well, but
yeah, it might be good because you can actually develop your character and design how your character looks, so you can actually see your character on the screen as you play them.
Well, you could do that last time. It was just you had to put it as an option. The primary view was first person, and you could change it to third person. But I think it was built more for first person. It felt a bit clunky sometimes in third person in Ark 1, but hopefully we might see first person. I do enjoy first person because it kind of immerses you a bit more. You feel like you're that actual person, especially when you're running away from dinosaurs or a dinosaur's running at your face and you're trying to hit it away with your axe and go, get back.
Look at the dodo there pecking the arm the bones on the floor. But yeah, I'm super excited for this.
Hopefully we'll get some news soon as well with an update of when it's going to come, and maybe we get a release date, or even if it came out in like early access. And we could play it a bit sooner rather than.
I don't know. I'd rather them just get it done properly, just get it done right, and then release. But
well,
high hopes for this one.
Yeah, watch this space. Hopefully, Ark 2 will be with us very soon.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have a different style of game. It's a strategy game, It's called Jurassic Architect, and it's set in the future, well, the not so distant future, from which humanity, thanks to the achievements of technology, escapes from a polluted and destroyed world to the age of dinosaurs in order to be able to create a new civilization. So it's a bit of a new idea that, so we're actually going to the future. Somehow, I'm assuming we've brought back dinosaurs in some way to help, and you can actually see in the game footage that there's like sauropods, like helping building stuff, and like people riding dinosaurs, building stuff. But you've also got elements of where you're attacking dinosaurs, and dinosaurs are attacking the city.
Yeah.
So it's kind of helped in one way, but also made other problems for the civilization.
It's an interesting idea, this one. I think, do you know what? It says it's set in the future, but it looks like they said they've escaped to the age of the dinosaurs. So it's like they've gone back in time. Maybe they've figured out how to travel back in time, and they've thought, we need to escape this timeline because Earth is dying or whatever.
Yeah.
And they've gone through a portal or whatever.
Well, at the start, it shows like a worker with a hard hat and stuff, and he goes through a portal. So it might be that there is this time travel element, and then you're operating this city that you're building.
Wow. So we've gone back to the age of the dinosaurs to basically
live there instead. Yeah. And it does look really good. The graphics look really good for. It's like a bird's eye view strategy style game, but the graphics are really good. It reminds me of the old Zoo Tycoon almost. With the green as you place in the gates and stuff, it goes green or red if you can't place it.
It's a different style of game, but I think. It is good. It's good for what it is. You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly.
If that's your type of style of game, that you probably enjoy playing this. But I do like it. Like, look at the sauropods there. They seem like that you're using them. As you would animals today. So you use like horses today to do things like pulling carriages and stuff like that. Instead, you're using sauropods. Imagine that though. Like when you think of what horses did for us. Ploughing the fields and donkeys carrying carts. A sauropod, think how big that is. It's a giant animal that can carry a lot more weight. But yeah, it looks really good. I like the look of this.
Yeah, and in the gameplay, you can see there's loads of little tabs at the bottom. So I imagine this is very much a management style game where you'll have to look after the people of the city. You'll have to make sure it's safe and secure. I know there's a clip there where it shows all these theropod dinosaurs running in. There's some guns trying to defend the city. So it looks a good one. This I'll definitely give this one a look at.
Yeah, like you say, management style. So like you say, you're probably going to have to make sure you've got enough food for the population of your city. You're going to have to make sure you've got enough resources being mined, and make sure you've got enough wood being chopped down from trees and stuff. You can see there they've got solar panels and stuff like that. So it's all just about management of managing your own city. So instead of like a park manager, like a zoo, it's a city-styled management.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting one, very different. A very unique style.
Yeah, civilization, but with dinosaurs essentially thrown in the mix.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. So next is Compound Fracture, and this game's graphics is deliberately bad. So it's actually got PS1 style graphics for the nostalgia.
Yes.
It reminds me very much of Turok.
Yes, it does.
Back in the day.
And I think, do you know what? Even though the graphics are deliberately put this way, to look, I won't say bad. I think it's just to throw you back into that time, like you say, nostalgia. But to be honest, sometimes it doesn't matter about the graphics. Sometimes if you've got a good storyline, it can work. Yeah. And that, with Turok, I remember when we used to play that, I loved it. It was great. You look back at it now and you think, God, is that how bad the graphics were?
Yeah.
But it was still a good game. And you can get games now that are brilliant graphics, and you get on it and you think, this storyline is absolutely boring, and I don't, you're not enjoying it. So it shows you sometimes you've got to get the balance right. It's not just about getting the graphics good. It's about getting the storyline good. So
that's it.
This might work. If they have a good storyline, it can definitely work.
Well, it says in the description, it says, it's not our world yet. Investigate the facility and keep your weapon ready.
Wow. It's very brief, isn't it?
Very
What's
brief.
going on?
Very mysterious. I don't know what's going on. I'm assuming you're in some kind of facility, as it puts it. There's some kind of dinosaur infestation, and we're going in to try and get them out.
And what's it called?
Compound fracture it's called.
And it's got a skeleton of a dinosaur. Is it
Yes.
to do with bones, possibly, I wonder? Fracture, you know what I mean? Bones, there's a skeleton, I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know what the storyline is really, but it's clearly like a first-person shooter styled with PS1 graphics for that nostalgia element. I think it'll be quite good fun, to be honest.
It's mad, isn't it? You wouldn't think we'd want to go back and play like old style games.
But I do agree, because even when like I look at old games, like and you go back to them and try and play them, you can still play them. But if you show them to someone who hasn't played it, they'll be like, "Oh, why are you playing this? The graphics are rubbish." Or this is, you think, no, you don't get it. Like it's still good.
It might be a game that's going to be popular with older people that have played games that look like this. Maybe
definitely.
Younger audiences might be like, "This looks rubbish. I'm not playing this." I don't know though. You might get some. But yeah, it definitely is going to send you back to nostalgia, thinking, "Oh God, this just reminds me of when I was a kid playing these games that looked this way."
On the PS1, on the PS2, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no, it's a good one. It's a good one. I like it. Next up is Goner. You're a goner. That's it. I think that's what it means. You're a goner in this game because you're stuck on an island full of dinosaurs. It says it's a thrilling new take on survival action adventure, telling the story about a son that has followed his mother. She's gone missing. She's doing some kind of research, and he has followed her to an unknown island, stranded and alone. His rescue mission has turned into a desperate fight for survival. So again, it's quite similar to other ones we've seen, like a survival game stuck on an island. And I think this is going to be a mix between like exploration and quite scary as well, but also like the survival element. It reminds me of Stranded Deep, but with dinosaurs.
Now
if
you've
that
said
makes
that,
sense.
yeah.
If you look at it, you can see him making fires. There's a case of like him getting food. It's really focused on the survival element, but with dinosaurs. It does feel to me like Stranded Deep.
Yeah, I think the graphics look a little bit. I don't know. I know we've just said about the graphics in the other one, but they were meant to be bad, weren't they, on purpose? But
it is in early development. It's still got got a long way to go. It's coming soon. There's not been a release date set or anything.
Look at the T-Rex. I don't know about that T-Rex. It looks a bit.
Yeah, look at the teeth there.
It looks very. I don't know, but like you say, it's early access. Maybe they'll develop it more.
Not early access, it's not out yet, but it's it's just early development. Okay. Sorry.
I mean, some bits look good. Like
this
that
bit looks good now. So, like, what's
through.
this now? So he's being chased by the T-Rex, and he's running, and he's going to jump across this canyon.
On the road.
And as he looks back,
oh god,
oh my god! So it does look good. It has a lot of potential.
I think it just needs
his
a bit
face
more.
looks mad though. There, he's crazy.
I mean, I don't know. Again, if the storyline's good, but I think the graphics looks a little bit. I don't know, a little bit off.
Yeah,
Some
hopefully
designs.
the graphics. If the graphics get touched up and get to a modern standard, that's really good. I think it has a lot of potential, especially if it really focuses on that survival element, like Stranded Deep. Because Stranded Deep is a game where it's almost agonisingly like painful to get by because you're trying to make your raft, you're trying to do this, and suddenly it's like, oh, I'm thirsty, and the player's like, oh,
do you think it's going to be
make
like
all these
that,
noises?
You've got to feed yourself and you've got to keep yourself hydrated.
I think
and stuff like that.
I'm not sure. It's not. I don't think it's confirmed, but by the look of the trailer, that's how it looks to me. Right. It might be more limited. It might not be as much, but it does look to me like Stranded Deep. It gives me them vibes. Yeah. But we'll have to see. I
don't know. It is very similar to the other ones that we've seen, these exploration ones. And that's the thing. I think there's so many games now. Anyone can make a game. There's so many different gaming developers.
Yeah.
And I think they're all in competition with each other. So you've really got to make sure you stand out to be able to beat You either do something different. Like some of the ones we've looked here, they're very different. You've got horror, you've got exploring, you've got shooter games, you've
strategy.
got builder games.
Yeah.
if you're going to go for one that other people have already done, you've got to, you're in competition with them. So
You've got to be the best in your space, haven't you?
Yeah, it's going to be hard for these, I think, to I don't know, compete with like the other one. What was the other one now that we said was really good? The one that we thought was
The Lost Wild.
Yeah, like when you look at Lost Wild, that looks a lot more well rendered than this, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I just think it's tough, but it's great in a way because you think back in the day you'd only get like maybe one dinosaur game coming out.
I think recently
now you've got loads of games all just coming out. Everyone's making games. It's mad.
Dinosaurs are a really big theme now. There seems to it's the age of dinosaurs almost.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like when you think back, like when Turok came out, like there was nothing else that was dinosaurs really, was it?
Yeah,
I think there was Zoo Tycoon that did Dino Digs, and that was it. Yeah. I think you didn't have some anything others, but like
it's very limited, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it is good that we've got lots of variety. It's just there's more competition now. I think if you're lagging behind somebody else, people are going to choose that other game in front of yours. So it's just it's a lot more difficult for game developers now.
We'll have to
try
see.
And stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, we'll have to watch this space and see how it develops. So
yes.
And last, but certainly not least...
No, we've saved the best till last. Prehistoric Kingdom.
So we have had the pleasure of playing this already. It's in early access, but the full release is coming out very soon. There's constant updates being added to the game with new dinosaurs and all sorts of new equipment and things for your park. So the bio of Prehistoric Kingdom, the description... It's take control of limitless power in Prehistoric Kingdom to build, manage, and grow the ultimate zoo for extinct animals. And I think that sums it up very well.
Yes, and what a pleasure it has been to play. It's been absolutely fantastic. You know what? You say it's early access, but I forget that it's early access when I'm playing it because I have such fun, and I think if this is early access, flipping heck, what's it going to be like when it's complete? Yeah. It's absolutely fantastic. If this is your style of game, getting creative and building things, you will absolutely love this game. It's brilliant. You can literally do anything. It's limitless on what you can make.
That's like it says, limitless power.
You can make anything. That's a lot of the problem I had with Jurassic World. I love Jurassic World, but you can't place things exactly where you want it. You put a rock too close to a tree and it comes up red. You can't do that. With this, you can put the rocks in the rocks. So you can layer the rocks, you can layer the buildings, you can do whatever you want. You can put trees on top of the rocks as if it's growing in the cracks and the crevices. You can make the water, go where you want. You can put waterfalls in. You can put bridges in. It's great. You can think of anything you want to make on here, and you can make not even dinosaur things. Some people have made, I think it was Harry Potter's castle,
Hogwarts castle. Yeah,
you know what I mean, it's like you can do anything. It's great, and like the finer details of it, like the dung beetles that you got to do to put in to clean up the dinosaur dung,
and the graphics as well. I think what the dinosaurs have been made very paleo accurate.
Yes.
Some of the dinosaurs on Jurassic World, they're obviously they're from the movies, from the films, and they're not completely accurate a lot of the time, but with Prehistoric Kingdom all the dinosaurs are very, very accurate to how they would have looked in real life, and the graphics is incredible.
I think Jurassic World gets away with it because obviously with Jurassic Park they say they're mixing DNA with different creatures, so you think they can get away with saying, it's not completely accurate. Well, they say that, don't they? Nothing in Jurassic World is completely accurate because they use frog DNA, different reptiles DNA and stuff like that, so they get away with it there. But here we're seeing animals that actually look, very, very accurate, and the designs are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous designs. You've got a variety of skins you can choose and different patterns.
And each dinosaur is different as well. When you generate them in the genetics lab, each one, none will be the same. Essentially, each one has a unique, pattern. It'll be slightly darker, a different shade, a slightly different pattern. And I think that's great because it, adds to the, individuality of the dinosaurs. And there's also going to be the genetic mutations. I think it's just a great, really in depth and well thought out And I mean, we've not really touched on the campaign, like playing it in challenge
we've
mode.
only been making
In the sandbox mode.
Yeah, we've just been creating enclosures really.
But it'll be really fun to actually play the challenge mode, where you've actually got to use money. You've got to make sure the park's running well, the guests are happy, that you generate enough money to look after the dinosaurs. I think that'll be a really good start playing that.
Yeah. I think when it is actually complete, I mean, do you know what? I don't think it'll ever become complete, because there'll always be things that they keep adding to it. There's always, I mean, think about how many different extinct animals. It's not just dinosaurs. You've got mammals in here, you've got mammoths and saber-toothed cats, woolly rhinoceros as well. So you've got a wide spectrum of different things you can put in. And I know when this game is going to get so popular, they're going to go, right, we're now going to do underwater creatures. And you're going to be putting in mosasaurs and, basilosaurus, all sorts of different creatures. So there's lots of spectrum of where they can go with this. I think at the moment, when I go on there, you click on buildings, and there's only a few buildings in there at the moment that you can choose, and you think, I wish there was a bit more variety. Because then you have to actually make your own building. But as the game goes on, you're going to go on there, and there's going to be tons and tons of buildings, tons of different designs, loads of different dinosaurs, loads of different animals to choose from, and you can just make a zoo that's just going to be
exactly how you imagine
epic.
it. Yeah.
So it's great. I'd say it's my favourite game on here. Some people might not be for them. A building kind of game. Some people might prefer to actually be walking around and exploring dinosaur places, like the shooter ones and the horror ones. But if you're interested in creating your own zoo, building your own park, this game is definitely for you. It's absolutely fantastic.
Definitely, I agree. And if you want to see more of Prehistoric Kingdom, like we say, we've played a lot of it. You can see lots of our content that we've made right here on the left. So give that a click if you want to see more. And please, guys, if you've enjoyed this episode of the podcast, give us a like down below. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more dinosaur content. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.